Lynda, you're one of those women who've disrupted an industry. There aren't too many female disruptors. What's that like?
Well, it's hard. People don't necessarily agree with you. You have to stand your ground. I also, built my company with my husband. It wasn't only me, and I said on stage, he has Asperger's and he's socially awkward, and oftentimes people didn't want to listen to either one of us, for different reasons. So, just believing in what you do, we were lucky to have each other, so that when a lot of other people wanted us to move one way and we didn't, we could kind of stand our ground a little bit stronger. But it takes that you are willing to look at things and be honest versus doing things the way everybody else wants to do them.
You really changed the nature of an industry using a company by your name. That's highly unusual, especially even, in today's landscape.
I had a lot of really strong feelings about the way that people learned, and we were so lucky to be a complete outlier in our industry, because if you had to worry about accreditation, about grades, about ranking, about whether you're conforming to the regulations and standards, we could kind of invent our own thing and found a different audience, the adult learning audience, the individuals out there and companies that are willing to invest in their own learning. And it very much matched to my philosophy about education and also my personal background, which was more about self-motivation than about grades, and about being curious forever. That curiosity is such an important trait to hold on to your whole life. And so we created a product that allowed people to be curious and allowed them to learn at their own pace and in their own way. And I think that was all based on, a lot of feelings and deep conviction that I had about education.
What about being a woman made you successful?
Being willing to explain things in a clear way that gave context and accepted that people didn't know. I used to say, no one is born knowing anything, and it's not that people are stupid, they just don't know. And so being really respectful of learners and having a beginner's mind and respecting that beginner's mind is something that a lot of people in technology don't do. They try to dazzle you with all the big words, and it's sort of a club that you can't belong to until you've been in it for a little while, and a lot of people didn't feel like they could ever be in that club. And so I think that was my approach towards being a teacher, and I also think that there's something very female about that idea of being nurturing, accepting, understanding, kind, respectful. Those are not typically words that get associated with male leadership.
A lot of women look to you as someone they can kind of emulate as they pave their way as entrepreneurs. What would you say is the best bit of advice you'd have specifically for female entrepreneurs?
It's just easy to be intimidated, I think, as a woman. I think we're just conditioned to be so. I don't know why, but really and truly, a lot of the men, once you get into the man's world, they don't know what they're doing either, but they just act like they do. And so it's sort of the same thing in a lot of ways. It's to just have a little bit more courage, a little bit more confidence, and even to be confident in the idea that you may not know what you're doing and be okay with that,
Just walk the walk, talk the talk.
Yeah.